In 1981, a family of 4 checked into a roadside motel late at night, tired from a long drive, and were given the key to room 7. The clerk watched them walk to the door and go inside. In the morning, the family did not check out, and did not answer, and when the manager went to look, there was a problem that no one has ever solved. There was no room 7. Between room 6 and room 8 there was a solid wall, and the motel's records, its keys, and its own building had no 7th room and never had. Stay with me. The clerk who checked them in remembers it perfectly. The motel was an ordinary one, a single low strip of rooms off a highway, the kind of place families stopped at when the driving got too long. The family, a mother, a father, and 2 children, arrived a little after midnight. The night clerk, a young man named Petrov, checked them in himself. He remembered them clearly afterward, the tired parents, the sleeping little girl carried in her father's arms, the boy rubbing his eyes. He took their payment, and he handed the father a key on a diamond-shaped plastic tag, and the tag was stamped with a number, and the number was 7. He watched them cross the lot and let themselves into room 7, and he saw the light come on behind the curtain, and that was the last anyone saw of them. In the morning, checkout time came and went. The room stayed quiet, the curtains drawn, the car still in the lot. By noon the day manager knocked, and got no answer, and used his master key, except that when he went to the door between room 6 and room 8, there was no door. There was a wall. A plain exterior wall, weathered the same as the rest of the building, with no door and no window and no sign that either had ever been there. The manager assumed he had miscounted, and walked the row, and counted again. Room 5. Room 6. Then room 8. Then room 9. There was no room 7. The numbers on the doors skipped from 6 to 8, and between them was that blank stretch of wall, and the manager stood in the parking lot in the noon sun and felt the day tilt under him. He went to the register. The night's records showed the other guests who had checked in, but no family of 4, no room 7, no payment stamped with a 7. He found Petrov, the night clerk, and Petrov insisted, with rising panic, that he had checked them in, that he had watched them go into room 7, that he had handed over the key himself. The manager asked to see the key. Petrov went to the board where the keys hung on their hooks, a hook for every room, and the board had a hook for 6 and a hook for 8, and between them, no hook, no gap, no 7. There had never been a room 7 key because there had never been a room 7. The family's car was real. It sat in the lot, locked, registered to the father, containing the ordinary luggage of a family on a trip, suitcases, a child's toy, a road map with a route drawn on it that ended at a town they never reached. The police were called. They traced the car, confirmed the family, learned their names, found that they had indeed set out on a drive and told relatives which highway they would take, the highway the motel sat on. And then the trail simply stopped, at a motel with no 7th room, in the memory of a night clerk no one could quite bring themselves to disbelieve. They opened the wall. That was the last thing they did, and it is the detail the case turns on. Certain that there must be a sealed room behind that blank exterior wall, that the family must be inside it, the police brought the manager's permission and a crew, and they broke through. Behind the wall was not a room. Behind the wall was the solid interior structure of the building, old and undisturbed, the framing and fill of a wall that had stood exactly as it was since the motel was built, decades before, with no cavity, no space, no room, no family. The dust behind it had not been touched in a lifetime. The family of 4 was never found. The car sat in the lot until it was towed. The relatives waited, as relatives do, for years, for a call that never came. And the motel went on renting its rooms, 5 and 6 and 8 and 9, with the blank wall in the middle where the numbers skipped, until it closed and was torn down and became a parking lot, which is what stands there now. Petrov, the clerk, left that job soon after and did not work nights again. Late in his life he told the story once more, to someone who asked, and he did not add anything or take anything away, because he had never changed it. He had checked in a tired family. He had handed a man a key stamped with a 7. He had watched a light come on in a room that, by morning, and by every record, and by the solid wall standing where its door had been, had never existed at all. And the only thing he could never make peace with, he said, was that he had not warned them, because there had been nothing to warn them about, until there was nothing left of them to warn.